timing cover harmonic balancer. We got the oil pan and stuff on it now. We're getting ready to throw some cylinder heads on it, but I was thinking before I throw the cylinder heads on there, to give you guys a quick little tip here. When you have a adjustable timing pointer for your harmonic balancer. Now this is also a good thing to do if you just have a stamped sheet metal one. You can at least mark it with a paint stick and everything like that, so when you got the timing light on there, you know where it's at instead of kind of guessing, oh, I think it's got 32, but it might have 38, it could be at 45, who knows, right? So when you got this set up here, and you know, and I got an adjustable timing pointer here, and then I got a harmonic balancer. It's got numbers all the way around it. You're going to take your dial indicator here, and you need a little block like this one here. Now my magnets fell off. I got to re-glue them on, but it'll work perfect for what we're doing here. You just want to straddle the piston, and since these pistons have big humps in them, we got to find the flat spot in the piston. And all we're going to do is simply roll the motor over, and we just want to find top dead center of cylinder number 1 again. So you're just going to roll it till it floats. So we just set our dial indicator on here. We find a flat spot on the piston, and we're just going to find top dead center again like we did before with our degree wheel. So you're just going to make the piston float at the top. Right around there, we're floating. We'll come over to our adjustable pointer on our timing cover here, and we'll set it to where the pointer reads 0. And that's all there is to it. Just a quick little tech tip for you, nothing crazy. Like I said, even if you have a stamped sheet metal timing pointer on there and you only got a harmonic balancer that's got a few of the numbers on it, we'll say it's a stock one or whatever you're putting back on your motor, that's fine, that stuff works. I ran it on many motors for many years, nothing wrong with it. I really like these what are these? These are Power Bond harmonic balancer and a LPC Liberty timing pointer. I've put them on a couple motors now and I really like them. They're really easy to read where the timing is at, especially since I'm not using a crank trigger, not yet anyways. In the future there might be one. But anyhow, quick tech tip for you. Next time you're putting your harmonic balancer on, you got the cylinder heads and everything like that off of it, go ahead and find your top dead center and get you right where your 0 is, so when you got the light on there, you know right where it's at. What's up, guys? So we got these jesel sportsman shaft mounted rockers, and I just want to give you a little bit of a run through. If you got a set or plan on getting a set, these are the economy line rockers. They're still pretty pricey, but anyhow, beside the point. So they come with this little dog bone looking thing here. Hopefully you can kind of see this thing. And then there's a shaft, well, the pedestal, I should say. So here's your pedestal. And what happens is this little dog bone goes across the cylinder head here, and the pedestal is supposed to lock down in it. Okay, so they kind of go together as a piece here, so it can't twist, they turn together, you know. Well, what I have found so far from doing this is that the rocker if you don't line a rocker up on here when you're going to torque it down, so you got to bring them down snug, put your Loctite, pipe dope, whatever, just like you would on a rocker stud if you were using stud mounted rockers instead of shaft mounted rockers. Put your pipe dope or whatever on the bolt, bring it down, get it nice and snug, and then I have found that these pedestals here, a 1-inch box end wrench fits them extremely well. I set a rocker up on there, line it all up, put a couple bolts in it so it's kind of started. I just, you know, hand thread a couple threads in there, and then I grab the wrench and I turn it until this, well, let's just bring you over here. So you can see this whole dog bone apparatus. You could spin this thing. So once the other one's in here, and we put the bolts in there, it's not supposed to, it locks, this is the tide bar, like it locks them together. But what I have found, when we put a rocker shaft on here, it's not nice and centered on here. So what I've been doing, whether it's right or wrong, I don't really know. What I've been doing is I put my pipe dope on my intake side. So it's kind of what I like to do. It's a good stuff. I can't tell you that stuff. That's some real good shit. But then I put Loctite on the exhaust side here. I bring them down snug, and then I set the rocker on here. I put the 2 bolts in it, just get them started, and then I grab my 1-inch box end wrench. I stick it on the side of this thing, and I turn it until it's nice and centered on my valve tip. And then after that, I take the rocker off, set it off to the side, hold the 1-inch wrench on there as like a hold back, and I torque that bolt down. Then I come over to the other one and I do the same exact thing on the other one. So what I found is kind of the way these are set up, the exhaust lines up pretty good, but the intake one does not line up as good as I would like to see it. You know, like if we were using some guide plates and we had a stud mounted rocker, I could move the guide plate around for the push rod, and it would move the rocker around, you know. So I haven't seen a lot of tech stuff out there for these jesel shaft mounted rockers, and in the instructions it don't say anything about having to tweak this, that, or the other, but I do know just from experience that you want it as centered as possible. I mean, you want everything when it comes to putting together a motor. But anyway, so that was just a quick little tech for you. I'll let you kind of, we'll go a little through this kind of quick, and I'll let you see the process of how I do this. I'm trying to get you guys right up in my teeth view here so you can kind of see what I do when I tighten these up. Now you notice these things come with 2 different size bolts. Well, they actually come with 3 different size bolts in the kit. You just got to figure out which ones work the best for you. I use the real short ones in the intake runner so they don't get all the way in the way of airflow and whatever. And then in the instructions it says use the longest ones possible. So I use the longest ones I can in the exhaust where they can still tighten up without bottoming out. Now the instructions say to tighten these up in between 60 and 65 foot-pounds. So we're going to 65. This is the part that I was talking about. We put our rocker on here. Start a couple bolts in it. So it's good and lined up. We're going to go ahead and run these bolts all the way down, but not really tighten them up. So that just puts the rocker right where we want it. Now I'm going to bring you guys around here and I'm going to show you right out of the box here how it's not perfectly centered. So if you look kind of close there, it's not perfectly centered. Hopefully the video, hopefully you've seen that in that little camera shot there. If you didn't, I'm sorry. I'm trying to do what I can for you, but this is what I do. Grab me a 1-inch wrench, go ahead, put it on that pedestal, and I just give her some twists until I like it. And right there, I'm pretty happy with that. So now I'll take this rocker off. Now we're going to use this just as simply as a holdback while we torque this down. Now we're going to do the exact same thing on the exhaust side. Make sure it's nice and concentric. Now a good thing is I'm using the same size rocker and everything for exhaust and intake, so I don't have to go back and forth in between rockers. And then we're going to do that all the way down the line here. So I'll show you the exhaust real quick, and then I'll put the rocker back on this side and I'll show you where it landed. So if we take a look here, them things are damn near right where they need to be. So there's just a quick tutorial run through for you. I gotta go through and do this whole cylinder head. I already done did the other cylinder head. Yeah, I mean, when you're setting up these jesel sportsman shaft rockers, it don't say anything about having to do this in the instructions. So I just thought it was a little good tech thing for you to check them out. I will say that using these Brodex heads and the Iski solid roller lifters I got in this motor with these jesel rockers here, I have a really weird push shot rod size. So when you're putting a motor together like this one, even if you're using stud mounted rockers, your typical stud, you know, they mount on, there's a little stud that goes in there with a guide plate, and you're using your roller rockers, whatever, you still want to measure for your push rod length. So I got a real weird number for these ones. Good thing is I was able to get me a set. They're on their way. I don't have them yet, but this is part of getting the motor closer and closer together. I'm debating on what color to paint the motor. I've been putting it off because I sprayed clear on the motor like it currently is, and I was thinking about just leaving it, you know, leaving the clear on there, running it like this, naming the dragster the War Eagle. You know, I don't know, the War Eagle sounds like a pretty cool name. My idea was, you know, make the motor look like we just pulled it out of the bottom of the river, threw it in that dragster, and here we are, you know. But if you got an idea on some good color, I don't like black. Everybody does Chevy orange. I'm not 100% opposed to Chevy orange, but everybody paints their Chevy motor orange. And I don't like black because black, it's hard to find where the oil's leaking from when it starts leaking oil. Hopefully this motor don't leak. I will say I have a lot of problem with one-piece oil pan gaskets. I've installed 4 of them now, and out of the 4, 3 ended up leaking. They leak right out of the seal in between the timing cover and the oil pan. And what I always do is I end up getting in there and taking the timing cover off the motor, because it's always in the car when you find the leak. And I cut it out, and I take the front section out of a 3-piece kit, and I silicone her up, man. Silicone it up like you wouldn't believe. I put them back together. They don't leak after I put them back together that way, but yeah, so if anybody's got some tech tips for me with a one-piece gasket, I'm hoping this one don't leak. This one looks good, but I won't know until I got oil pressure in the motor and it's running and spinning and all that good stuff. So, but yeah, if you got some good color combinations, let me know. The dragster is blue. You know, maybe painting it a natural cast engine color wouldn't be too bad. I don't want to paint it blue, so that's just entirely out. But I'm leaning towards either leaving a clear coat on it or possibly going with the GM orange. We'll see. Leave some comments down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what colors you got out there. Maybe send me some pictures of your engine blocks, you know. Maybe that would be pretty cool. I'm not sure. I'm working on getting a Facebook page set up for the YouTube channel. Haven't gotten that far yet, but I am working on it. That's all I got for you tonight, folks. So I'm going to go ahead and get this wrapped up so I can get inside the house. It is getting kind of late. I want to say it's probably 10 o'clock, maybe 10:30 here in Michigan. It is snowing outside and it's cold. And yes, I am in the garage in a t-shirt. I have some really good heat out here. But anyways, as always, this is Pat Performance checking out. hit the thumbs up button, drop a comment down below, you know, hit me a line, something like that. Let me know what you got. I'd like to hear similar combinations of people dynoing. This is a 439 cubic inch motor with anywhere from 12.5 to 13.5 compression. It's got a big solid roller, 703 inch lift cam. It's on a 104 intake center line. Well, pretty close, like 103.5, but you know, close to 104. So yeah, let me know what you got. Let me know some of your dyno stuff, what kind of power you made. I'm hoping this motor makes anywhere from 700 to 800 horse is what I'm hoping for. I really don't know. I'm not putting it on a dyno. We're just going to put it in a cart and see what it does. But that's it. That's all I got for you. Thanks for coming back. We'll catch you next time.